Insight broadcast. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Rodney Coles. We bring information to our communities, to our pastors, to the people who's just in the nonprofits, and different information that we bring to you. Today we have a special guest again on this broadcast, and I'm going to introduce her, Dr. Braswell. Dr. Braswell, welcome to the broadcast.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. Now, Dr. Braswell, you wear a lot of hats, and we're going to first let's talk about Dr. Braswell. Who is Dr. Braswell?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I am a native of Clayton, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I am a product of a community college. I've been with the community college system now for 20 years, but I started at Johnston Community College. After attending there for 10 years, I transferred to Fayetteville State University, and I stayed in Fayetteville for about 20 years, and I worked at Fayetteville Technical Community College in various roles. And then 7 years ago, I was offered the opportunity to transition here to Pitt County at Pitt Community College as the Dean of Continuing Education and Workforce Development.
Wow. Now, I met you, Dr. Braswell, when you first came here, was making some changes at Pitt Community College, and I tell you sure have done some great changes, and like, well, who's going, what's this program here, who's doing this and that, you was really ironing it out, and that's the person to really take an issue of, I call them leadership. There's a difference between a leader and there's a difference between a manager. A manager's manager, but a leader have the vision and making changes, and that's what you had done here. So I take my hat off towards you on the work that you do. So you've really been involved with a lot with the colleges, and so I could imagine that it's your passion.
Yes.
Something that's inside you to say, hey, I want to help folks do better for themselves.
Yes, and I always say you're never too old to learn. And so I really just try to preach that and teach that and apply it to anyone that I encounter. And so when I first moved here, it was a team effort, really getting it out, because I used to say that continuing education was the best kept secret, and we no longer want it to be a secret. So that's why we worked really hard to promote our programs and get out in the community more.
And we truly appreciate that. Let me share some with you, because I bumped into a gentleman yesterday on the phone line. It was amazing. He's 30 years old. I'm so sorry. He's been in prison for 30 years. And I was like throwing back, and I just tell him, listen, just set up an email and do the intake form that we have. I can't do that. And just listening to him, then I met another one on Saturday doing the bread route. This gentleman, he just got married 1 year ago, and he said, he mentioned that he can't read and write. He drives a tractor trailer. I said, I hope he can read the signs. But it's so important. Like you just said something key was, it's so important understanding that you're never too old to learn. And both of these guys is younger than me. I'm like, wow, this guy can't read, and just there's so much that you guys do to help people, and we really thankful for that, because I tell you, when I first got down here and when I seen that what Pitt Community College was offering and got connected with them and connect with Lynn Jane, I told Lynn Jane, please just give me a try. She said, Pastor Coles, I love you, but we had so many people come here because of grant money, and when the grant go, they go. I said, Ms. Lynn Jane, but I don't have grant, but I got God, so let's give it G-O-D, not G-O-B. Amen. So she said, I'm gonna give it a try, and that's what she did, and that's how we started. And y'all guys are students. See, that's another thing. You in a lot of my stories when I tell people, because within 5 years, I'm moving myself down, just be an overseer. There's the intro, then there's the movie, then there's the outro, and I'm into the outro, And I was mentioning, one of the programs was the We Care program, and as it was going, and then Dr. Braswell came and like, who program is this here? I'm trying to figure this program out. Who's who? What? We had that conversation. Good. And now I said with Dr. Braswell, it's time for me to kind of pull back. And Dr. Braswell, so listen, we will continue doing it, which you kept your promise, and it's still going on today to help those men and females who comes out from the shelter. Because when a person going to a shelter, you have to be very at the deepness of your life of depression, to the point where you got to live somewhere, and to come out to know that that's a place where you can help you get your education, get your job. And he said, I'm going to put parallel computers in, and you did that. I'm going to put a projector in it. You did that. And I just want to tell you thank you, because that's a part of my story of the community crossroad, which now was in the We Care program, that I don't have to do. God has just moved and He put the right people in there, and you take it to a level that I couldn't take it at. I'm only putting the concrete in, but you built the tower. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. Currently, we do not have classes there because of COVID. We had
Okay.
to kind of stop, and right now their attendance residency is down. The numbers are kind of low, which can be a positive or a negative thing. So right now, we're not currently running classes there, but we look forward to renewing that partnership in the probably the first of the year.
But you kept it going.
But we did keep it
You
going.
kept it going.
We kept
COVID,
it going to COVID.
left everybody down. Everybody got knocked down with COVID, man. It's amazing. This kind of disease has shut the whole town
Yes,
down.
yes.
Shut churches down.
That's true.
Woo,
That's
we won't
true.
go there because we all have mercy. We get the doctor, they get the president talking about us in a few minutes. Amen. Somebody. But Dr. Bradshaw, you have so many programs, and it's so. And I will say, I'm so glad you had on the broadcast because a lot of us as clergies and pastors, we don't have understanding all the programs out here, and they always get folks. We get folks to come into church and need help. A lot of them know to read. We have some good members. They could pray, they could sing, but they couldn't read the notes. Sure. Amen. But understand there's programs out here, and I know some of these programs may be small fee, but some of these programs you have is no fee at all.
Correct.
So I'm going to pass the baton to you to tell us what some of the programs you have, and we're going to dig right onto it.
Okay. Well, I would just like to first say now, in my new role I'm now the Assistant Vice President of Off-Campus Programs and Evening and Weekend College. So my job is to make sure to push PIT out in the community. So as you speak about the churches, and that's why I really want to speak to the church network, to the pastors, to the ministers, because we realize that people tend to feel more comfortable maybe taking classes where they worship because they're comfortable going to that particular facility. So we are open to partnering with churches, with various nonprofit organizations to put classes and programs out into the community because we realize transportation is an issue for a lot of people and they can't necessarily make it to main campus. So we can take the classes and the programs to you if you can't come to us. And so right now we currently have two centers. We have the Bernstein Center and we have the Farmville Center. We have partnered with the town of Ayden. So come January, we will be in the big town of Ayden offering classes. So so we are excited about Ayden. I know it's just a few of the classes that are upcoming in Ayden. We have line dancing classes that's going to be starting in Ayden and computer skills. So if you're interested, then definitely contact us and we can point you in the right direction to get registered for some of those classes. But also we're here. We want to get into all those small pockets in Pitt County. I'm learning them. I'm still learning them. But we want to get in there and offer the programming that they need, and we want to serve the community, because that's what we're here for. We're the community college. We're here to serve the community, and that's what we want to do.
Wow. Now, when you mentioned about the churches, and I'm speaking for the pastor, so what I'm making sure I'm hearing this correctly, that if we could use our fellowship hall, and you will help us set up a class there.
Correct.
So let me ask you, what are some of the things that the pastor would need to have that? I'm hoping at least internet, right?
Well, we definitely
don't have internet.
Yeah, we would definitely want you to have internet, but we have a solution for that. If you do not have internet, we have hotspots that we can connect to, and then we would love for you to have computers. But if you do not, we have the capability to take laptops to your facility and connect them to hotspots, so we can offer computer classes or just basic literacy classes, whatever you need. If we do not have the resources, we can probably try to find the resources to make it work.
So if they have the facility is the key thing, and how many, is a certain amount of time per day they have to be open, and days per week?
We are flexible.
Okay.
We are flexible. We can offer classes during the day or in the evening and on the weekends. We're flexible.
Wow.
We're flexible.
Weekends?
The weekends, yes. Weekends. We know not on Sundays,
No,
but not on Sundays. Not Wednesday nights, but we can do.
You got Bible study. Learn a little bit more.
But we are flexible with that. We can meet 2 days a week, 1 day a week, whatever they need, and as long as we can make sure we can complete the content and get the content in, we're flexible with that.
And that's good stuff, because when I'm listening to what I'm hearing, actually, when I'm listening, most likely is that you can have, our churches can have a little substation of a college there, on helping their members, or even from people in the community, because that's so key. You know, in this town, you know, I was just telling a guy just yesterday, you know, there's only 6 buses in the whole town, you know, so transportation is a real big need in this community. And it takes an hour. I haven't been on the bus. I've been here 16 years. I haven't been on that bus yet. I got to get on the bus at least one time. You know? But it's so important to have a place where you worship at, or a place where the pastors, you can say, well, we just got to open the space and have this time. Let me ask another question. Do they need to have any type of like general insurance, anything? You know, it's just a question.
It just really depends on the class that we will be
Okay.
running there. I mean, if it's something that pertains to like any type of equipment or anything that would cause they have to do actual physical activity, we may need to have some type of, make sure there's some liability coverage there. But if it's just our basic, normal literacy classes or computer skill classes, then I think whatever insurance the church has would cover that.
And then you also, what you have an instructor there, because us pastors, we had to delegate everything,
Correct.
So it'd be somebody there during the time, it'd be
Correct.
doing the training.
Correct. We could hire someone to go there, but then if we could find someone that is a member at that church, to me, that would make it even better and make the participants more comfortable. So we're open to, looking at people within the organization or within the church, hiring them to teach the course for us if we need to.
Secretary get a job,
Yeah,
pay a little
yeah.
more.
I'm not promising anything, but I'm just
it's
saying
a possibility.
that's a possibility.
It's a question mark. We can get them in, maybe. So, I mean, and that's really good, because I think that as churches, we really need to have the facility. The facility is there, and for at least for the fellowship, and they have a fellowship hall, internet to help that community and help the people in the church is real good, because a lot of times I get calls, I tell you, and I answer the question before they can really ask the question. Well, the church's vans, they only sit in a parking lot. Why can't the churches pick people up and take them? They ain't going to do it. They ain't going to happen. Just stop asking that question. Why? Because it's a liability. They got insurance to take from here on Sunday when they do their insurance, but they don't have that $300 million, I think it's $3 million insurance policy or something to transfer somebody, because when, most people think you got a 15-passenger van, they think they're a car service. But you're not a car service, we call Uber. But the point is that it's so important to have a church that's already, all you got to do is your internet, which you should have anyhow. I don't think anybody faxing anything today on the telephone line. I believe everybody's on the internet sending an email today, and everybody most have a Gmail, some type of email account, and have the internet. And if the church does not have a computer that's up to speed, I think we're in Windows 10 now. I don't know what speed we had in Windows. Maybe it's somewhere in there, but and then that they would be able to have certain amount of students and certain amount of students, and because we wanted to have we could open up a church door and say, hey, he just got Sister Mabel want to come in. Oh no, we got to get some people in that church there, so it got to be a cap. How many people is a minimum that these churches have to understand they have to have?
8. We like to use the minimum of 8, the number 8. That would be the minimum that we would want. And then again, it's not going to be the church responsibility to just advertise and recruit. We will help also with recruiting, because it's going to be for the church, but then also, like you said, the community, the neighborhoods. So we want to educate and promote them as well. So we would help with the recruitment, the advertising, and everything.
And I'm going to ask a tricky question, because this broadcast goes to three different areas: Martin County, Pitt County, and Beaufort County. We only focus just on Pitt County.
Correct.
All right. So
Thank you for saying that.
All right, because they're saying that they're gonna say, "Hey, well, listen, she could come to my church.
No.
I'm over here in Martin County, Robinsonville. No, this is Pitt County.
I can only serve Pitt County
There
residents.
you go. Right. So
yes,
Pitt
thank
County.
you.
So if a person in Pitt County has a pastor, let me ask another question:
Okay.
Is it just only for the churches?
No. No,
Okay.
no.
So if we are nonprofit and we have space, and they say, listen, I like to do a little education because people have need to learn it, and y'all can come there as well. It's the same type of format.
Correct.
8 people. You can set your days. We do Saturdays, not Sundays. and you can set
Correct.
that up.
Correct.
Okay. So then I'm asking the question: is that if they have just the 8 people in the class and the class started, could they add on the class, or is it
It really just depends on which program we're looking
Okay.
at. If we're looking at like transitional studies, the literacy programs,
Mm-hmm.
they are kind of open. So people can enter and start at various times. But if it's a specific program like a class for like computer skills, we have a definite start and beginning date and time. So they would probably have to wait till the next time.
Okay, now we done gave them the ingredients of the cake. We didn't tell them what kind of cake we preparing. So what are some of the classes that you guys offer?
Okay. Well, we offer credit and not credit classes. So that's kind of the advantage of my
Everybody
department.
need that class.
Yes.
Credit.
So
Jack,
we-
try to get a car
yeah.
with that.
So we offer continuing education, workforce development, short-term training courses, but then also we can look at curriculum courses if the community or the neighborhood needs community curriculum courses. If they want to work like towards we're going to start in the spring healthcare technology program. We're going to call that Career in a Year, and we're going to offer that in the evening. So a person could go for a year in the evening, and they could obtain a certification by the end of the year. So those are the type of things programs that we want to start offering and get more out into the community.
Okay, and that's good. And the reason I want you to come on this broadcast so they can hear the story, because we're going to put you on the line with all the pastors so they can ask these questions. Sometimes, they may not have questions. You have questions you want to ask, but by the time you got home, it's too late to ask the question. So I want to understand on some of the programs you have, because this is really, really good, and the churches need that. I would say that the people need it because we have so many people who do not understand credit. And like I said, they gave me that stemmer money. That stemmer money they gave me, money they had of a fool with the pot. Most of the people are most stupid staying with that money. You can't get a card nowhere then but all those payday cards. But that's another. They need to understand money and how to work the money, because a lot of times people work for money, but the money really should be working for you.
Sure.
And how to get their credit right. And some people think they own the house, but the house own them because their credit are right, and they're getting cars, and they got to keep on people making sure the repo man to come take the car because they know they owe on the car and they couldn't afford the car. The salesman, his job to sell you a car. That's it. It's, my commission and I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? He talked nice to you, but you need to probably go to the service department now. But the key thing is they need help on their service, how to get their credits right. They need help on reading. They need these areas are so important.
Correct.
It's so important. And I tell you, it's so critical that you can hear people. And just in a conversation with a gentleman just yesterday, just talking with him at his office, and didn't realize this man is so deep in debt. And I said, my Lord, what he need to do. And even the young man I was mentioning, I met him at the bread house, can't read, and his credit's all messed up. He said he got stuff in his mama name. I was like, what the heck going on here? You understand? But I said, but we had to get out of those, understanding that we need to help them. And the churches really need to have this. So I'm so glad that you're doing this because I would admit that I was trying to get like Job for Life and see what they're doing, try to treat. That's not the same what you guys are doing, because we need somebody to help us. We need somebody to come into the church and we can make this, hey, we're going to start doing this at the church. You're giving out food. That comes with some food, but they need to come with some food in the brains here, the knowledge they need.
Sure.
And so I'm so glad you guys are doing this. Let me allow you to put your name and number and to camera, because people are trying to get your number. There's probably pastors looking at this broadcast right now, and I'm going to let them know when we're going to do the broadcast, so they're going to know in advance. Okay. And then we're going to be sending it out with this video stating that this is what we're going to be having and getting the pastors in the church. And I'm going to be working with you, and my goal is to how many churches could we get in a month? And we're going to work and get these churches to open their doors and say, hey, we need to have these trainings and these classes. Because I deal with this all the time when we're helping these people with rent and things like that. They need education. They need to know how to manage their money. You can't keep on giving people food and giving them things that they don't know how to manage the money they have. And I like what Clark did at Hope of Glory, him and Manny. They put a budget class together. You just don't come to Hope and Glory getting stuff. You got to go through a training, and they give you like $200 worth of food for $50. But you got to put some skin in the game. And a lot of people need this here. They need this here, and it's sad that so many people have went on by life day by day. And I tell you, some pastors, their bills all messed up too. They don't know why they all messed up, but they need help too. Let's be real. And I let them know that we can help you. You can be helped today. We won't take your credit score. We won't say anything, but you need help too. We put you in the back room. But anyhow, information that you can share with them right now. How can they get in contact with Dr. Braswell?
Okay, and I do want to say we are starting a financial literacy program in the spring. So definitely we want to get that program out into the community, like you said. But if you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me. My email address is kbraswell@email.pittcc.edu. I repeat, that's kbraswell@email.pittcc.edu. And then also my office number is 252-493-7319. I repeat it again, 252-493-7319.
Thank you for that. And I know the people probably looking at this broadcast, I just like being real because I've realized that I'd rather be hated for who I am than be loved for what I'm not. Truthfully is that we got to get our credit right.
Sure.
And a lot of times, life didn't teach you how to get your credit together. And I said, I would admit that there was a time I failed on the floor. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, Lord, you got to keep that scores up.
Sure.
You got to not be buying. Because they giving you a credit card don't mean you got to take each and every one of them.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And they need to have understanding of this. You keep saying, well, God understands. No, God understand that. He said, don't be a letter to the debtor. I mean, come on, now read the word. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important to have that, but it's so important to get the churches involved.
Correct.
With this, because people need this type of help, Dr. Braswell.
Correct.
And that was the purpose of the We Care program. I said, we have to say, what are we doing to help the people? And I don't think I have enough time to share my story. In New York, real quick, I think about a few minutes. I worked at the church, and one of the key thing was that I didn't take the salary. I'm not telling nobody not to take their salary as a pastor. I'm not saying that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Because I was doing good at PepsiCo, so I didn't feel that I had to take the salary. But story short is a long one. Is that I bumped into a gentleman in PepsiCo. We built a good relationship, and he was helping PepsiCo with their credits and things to do with finance, and we just became friends. And that's what he helped me, and he said he will. And we put a program together in the church, and I said, well, he wanted me. You need a capital of money to help get their debts because these people are buying Fingerhut stuff and $7.99 a month, and they spend all this money, and we was able to get them out of debt. Now I got in trouble from the bishop, but that was fine. But I went there. They let him know. And he said, "Man, you can't take God money and then use that." I said, "We taking God money. That's my money I put in. It was, to help the people." And the key thing is had to help the people. And I want to say with John Church, who passed away, that's my pastor, as he passed away, one of the things he put in this church was a credit union, where you can borrow at 3% to buy a car, and you have to go through a class. A lot of people need help with their credit. People need help with their money. And I said, and Pitt College offers a whole lot. You offers business planning.
Correct.
You offer so much. There's so many people in ministry that have dreams and have never pushed the dream and say, how can do it? But now, you know what? You need to spend no gas or anything. Hey, you can go right to the church where you're going to go anyhow.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
and get
true.
this. You got me sold on this, Dr. Braswell. I have about another minute or so. Anything you want to tell to the audience?
Just real quick, we have a Better Skills, Better Jobs Fair coming up on next Tuesday, October the 26th, and that is going to be at the Convention Center. The morning portion will be open for the high school students to come in. We're going to have about 100 employers around Pitt County there, and they're looking for employees. And so if you have someone or you know someone who's looking for a job, tell them to come out to the Convention Center on October 26th, next Tuesday, and in the afternoon from 2 to 7, it'll be open for the community. So you can register online. You can go to Pitt Community College's website, and you will see the information there, Better Skills, Better Jobs Fair, and they can register online. But please encourage any and everyone to come out.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for watching the broadcast. God bless.